Welcome, comic book fans, to Potbelly Gamers. Hashtag Pullthis for the week of Wednesday, March 1st, 2017. I'm your host, Glenn Kremp, aka Leaps and Six, and this is our weekly segment where we go to the comic book shop and pick what we think is our top picks this week. This week I'm going to start off with Superman number 18, which is the beginning of the four-part kind of crossover series between Superman and Action Comics, which is Superman Reborn. This is part one. Now, if you remember last week, or if you picked up Action Comics 974 last week, it ended with a pretty good splash page with regular Clark Kent kind of remembering what's going on. Now, I'll just give you a quick history of that. With the new rebirth, there's two Clark Kents. One is the Clark Kent we know with powers and who ends up being Superman, and now there's another Clark Kent in this universe who's just a regular dude who works at the Daily Planet. So with the Superman book this week, we're kind of getting into really something a lot more interesting with the Superman universe. Dr. Oz, who you may know from DC Rebirth, is this mysterious figure that's kind of collecting people from the DC universe. So he's collected already. The most famous would be Red Robin, where in the Batman family everybody thinks he's now dead, but he's actually in this prison in Dr. Oz's, wherever Dr. Oz is located. We're not too sure quite yet. So we now kind of fast forward. We do see that Robin is kind of letting Dr. Oz know that someone that he has kidnapped, or I should say has in prison, has escaped. We see his cell room and has Superman written everywhere on it. Then we flash forward to what we know is the DC Rebirth Superman, Lois, and their son Jonathan Kent, kind of celebrating Lois and Clark's wedding anniversary. It's a very nice, happy time. Everybody's happy. Presents are being given. What happens is all of a sudden, everything starts to seem like it's erasing from existence. So it was a really good emotional book where Superman is desperately trying to save Jonathan Kent, his son, as he is seemingly being erased from existence. So in a couple pages, he grabs him, he disappears. He goes upstairs, grabs him, disappears. And eventually does get to the end where he just absolutely disappears from existence along with their house. I'll be honest, it felt pretty emotional just when Superman's the most powerful person in the world and he can't even save his son from what's going on. It was a great emotional book. I can't wait for the rest of the other three parts going on. I think we're in for something really special with this comic, and I highly suggest this is a great pickup this week. On the side note, I want to add my own personal opinion. At the end of Superman 18 this week, we do have a list of DC's kind of letting you know who they think could have escaped the prison of Dr. Oz. Personally, I'm hoping Clark Kent ends up being Superboy Prime. If you remember, Superboy Prime was around for Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he is absolutely, would be awesome if that's who this Clark Kent ends up being, is Superboy Prime, and he's back into the DC fold. That's just my personal opinion of it, and who I'd really love to see that this is who he becomes. Next up, I'm going back to DC, and it's Batman number 18 this week. And again, as you can see, this is also starting with the I Am Bane storyline. So for the Batman books, there's been a lot with I Am Suicide storyline, now the I Am Bane storyline, that have been really, Tom King's really been writing up the difference between Batman and Bane. And this book here, not to mention the art, is absolutely phenomenal this week. We get a great battle between Batman and Bane. Later to find out it is an actually good, setup that Batman actually trapped Bane into fighting him, so other things could be happening behind the scenes that you would see at the end of this book. Another great comic this week, and I know it's the way it was colored. We do kind of see Catwoman is helping Batman out, but the way they drew her, I would like to say almost back into the purple costume. I love that panel. She's kind of helped Batman, and she's drawn in what looks to be just the way it's colored and lighting back in her purple outfit, which was an awesome splash page you'll get in this comic. Again, I just want to recommend Batman 18. Really good. It was an awesome read. This week I'm also going to show out America number 1. Now, if you may know, America Chavez is pretty much the leader of the Ultimates. She's a great young character. What this is very interesting, bringing in her into kind of almost into the mainstream of Marvel. The first comic for her really sets up kind of her wanting to go back to school, kind of get a little bit of education, get her life on track. And then while they're there, you know, she's late for class and she kind of does a lot of other stuff. What's really neat is the end of it here. She meets a friend that she knows, and they've developed a time traveling device. And what's awesome is near the end of this book, she goes back and kind of helps Captain America in World War II, which is pretty fun. But again, I just want to share, it is a very great book, kind of going in with America Chavez and her being a lesbian, and the comic really takes care of that with her relationships and stuff like that. A really strong comic and a great read this week. Also this week from Image Comics, Royal City. Jeff Lemire created it, wrote it, illustrated it, everything. Part of Image's 25th anniversary comics. I really enjoyed this one as well. No superheroes or anything involved, just a regular just a regular story about an older man living at home, all that, has a stroke, falls down, and then the whole his family's trying to get together and realizing what's happened, and just the struggles, everyday struggles of his family, different family dynamics coming from this book. It was a really great read. I really found myself wanting to see how this is going, where it was going. There is a little bit, it does seem, not to ruin it for you, I do apologize, but it does seem that one of the family members has died, and all the family kind of ends up seeing him on their journey back to see their dad. Also could be the cause of why the dad had the stroke. A very interesting comic. As I did mention, Royal City was created by Jeff Lemire, who, you know, had great works with Animal Man and Old Man Logan. And those are some great reads. I really enjoyed his work. Jeff Lemire is a really amazing writer and artist. And also this week, DC threw out a couple poly-bagged comics. We got Harley Quinn and Green Arrow and stuff like that. So $2.99 is pretty great. And inside the poly bag, you're going to grab 2 comics. So also you can grab, again, I grabbed Harley Quinn this week, which is really good, a fun story. But also if you've watched the AMC show Into the Badlands, there is a nice free, very good black and white comic of Into the Badlands this week. So $2.99, you get 2 comics for the price of 1. Not a bad deal. That's my pull list for this week. As always, you can tune into our podcast, Potbelly Gamers, on the allgames.com radio network. We go live Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this week, we're going to be talking about Logan. We'll do our spoiler-free review as we're going to all go see Logan, and we're really excited about that. As always, I also want to thank washikong.com for their support. Check out their website, washikong.com, for apparel and action figures. And as well, get out and support your local comic book shop. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have these great titles every week. Thanks. See you next week.
That's good.
Thanks.